Welcome, Natalie. How are you?
Thanks, Ching. It's such an honor to be with you, and I can hear New York's specific sound after one of my beloved WCPs.
Yeah, that was a Moonlight from Debussy. Although right now in New York City is very sunny, and I see in Paris you have some sun also. Is it in the summertime? It's always like that. Your summer.
Yes, and we do get those long nights that you don't have in the US, because every time I'm in the US in the summer, it's like, wow, it's already night, it's 9 o'clock, and for us it's like 10:30. It's still, let's go party.
Happy hours longer.
Exactly. Absolutely.
So for those of us do not know who Nathalie Wizun is, I'm just going to say a few short version from her biography. Nathalie specializes in early violin education for more than 18 years. She holds a master's degree in French medieval history. She is a specialist. She is a trainer. She's a translator. And she is an author. She also is a photographer. But most importantly, she has discovered this sort of newer early childhood teaching methods called Colourstrings about 15 years ago or 12 years ago?
20 years
20
ago.
years ago.
Oh,
wow.
My God.
Yeah. 20.
Oh, yeah.
So, yeah, we're going to talk about that. Okay. So,
yes.
So I always like to ask my guests about their background a little bit. So could you please, Nathalie, tell us a little bit of your background? Oh, by the way, I am in New York and Nathalie is in, near Paris. Isn't that cool?
Yeah. I would say that where I live would be like Brooklyn in New York. I'm not Center City, but I'm not far from Center City. Mm-hmm. So my background is some kind of, I would say this a Yiddish American expression, mishmash, because I'm a mix of many things. Actually, I was supposed at one point to be a historian, which I didn't become, because I had that call, the teaching call, and so it has been an unusual journey, and it's like things are calling me. It's not me going to look for things. It's like quite weird. Mm-hmm. So it's all of a sudden I have something coming to me, I go for it, and I'm obsessing over it, and then something again comes to me, and so I have an unusual curriculum, I would say, but I have a diversified curriculum, which is a blessing also, because I think that over specialization is good and also not good. But that's my personal point of view. And as you know, you also have a very diversified curriculum, and I think it's a real richness. So how I went into music and teaching is really almost by coincidence, and it's like it's not what I was supposed to do, really not. Came to me, and I stick to it, and it's like it was my path.
Yeah, so. That's great. So now tell us about you have been involved with early violin teaching method, and you also kind of internationally traveling. I see you went to Montreal, or you went to Quebec,
Montreal,
and then Helsinki.
Yes. It's like I have always been traveling with my parents at a time when no one was traveling. Everybody was going, on a summer vacation at the same place, same house, when we were traveling all over Europe. And I guess I have the bug. I have the bug in me. I feel more connected to the world, being a world citizen. And so I it was also by accident, and it was for me going to Quebec was a tremendous eye opener, because the way the teaching is being taught, the way that the students are being raised is far from the old continent where I was born. And then the US too, because I was in touch at one point with the Paul Roland Society. So all this was just, for me, always very, very appealing. And that's how it happened. Why did it happen? I still to that day don't have any answer, but it did. And it's, I met amazing people. I think now, with Europe, most of the students can travel and spend 1 year in this place, 1 year in Spain. I think it's such a blessing. And so, yes, traveling has always been a way of life.
Yes, and you definitely don't have a boring life, that's for sure.
No, not at all. Not at all.
So tell us a little bit about the last 20 some years you have been sort of redirected to this method called Colourstrings.
So I was, as a teacher, I was raised in a method in Quebec, which was some kind of a French Suzuki point of view, even though it was not Suzuki totally. And I had come to a point where I was frustrated by many elements, reading, connection to reading an instrument. And at that time, I was part of the equivalent of ASTA, the American String Teacher Society. I was working with the ESTA, European String Teacher Society, in France. And I met Geza through a friend of mine who unfortunately left us not long ago. And she was really who I would call her, and Geza would call her Colourstring godmother, because she really introduced Colourstring, because she traveled through Helsinki through a high-level university exchange program, as she was a teacher at the Superior Conservatory of Paris. And so she had organized his coming to a week of, conferences about strings and etc. And it's
how do I say Geza's last name, please?
Szilvay.
Szilvay.
Yeah, Szilvay. Geza Szilvay. So I saw a gentleman who had just like 45 minutes of talk, when there were people having like hours. It's like everybody's just like, ready to woo. And all of a sudden I saw that amazing gentleman with such a high energy level, and you could see he wanted to give so much in 45 minutes. And all of a sudden I saw things on the screen, and I said, this is for me. This is for me. It is talking to me, because at that time I had participated for 7 years to a project in a kindergarten school, and the lady in charge of that school had done Kodai workshops for teachers, not music teachers, but for teachers. And when she saw me, she said, I want to give you all that. So I have whole books in Hungarian, and I could see the pictures, and I was like, somebody needs to translate that to me. And it's like a few years after that, I see those images, and it's like, oh, this is what I saw on those books. I want to go there. And so I went to see Geza after his 45 minutes Russian conference, and I said, is there a way we can see you again? And he said, yeah, sure, come tomorrow. And then the next day I said, is there a way we could you could come to France? He said, oh no, you come first. And I was like,
so tell us who is Geza Szilvay?
So Geza Szilvay is Hungarian, and he was raised in a family where music was just a way of life. His own brother is a cellist, and he had a scholarship to study chamber music in Helsinki at the Sibelius Academy. And because, strangely enough, there was a connection with the Eastern countries and Helsinki. You know, Helsinki, Finland has been a young country just since 1919, and many influences like Russian, so for a reason that I don't have to, so he had the ability to go study in Helsinki, and this is where everything started for him, because he got a teaching position very quickly, and he was not speaking a word of Finnish, even though Hungarian and Finnish is supposed to be part of the same family of languages, but it's absolutely different. And so he managed, which I found a level of creativity that is so wonderful. He managed to organize his teaching without talking. So he created a visual language that all the children, all the little Finnish children could understand. And it started like this. And it started almost like a family project, because he never thought that he would become internationally well-known. So, and what is amazing is that he's a hard worker. He's always working. I had him on the phone few days, like 2-3 days ago, or 2 days ago, and he said that, hey, the G volume is going to be published, which is the volume for position. And it's like, I'm so amazed by this ability of being humble, smart, witty, and hard worker. So that's who he is. Mm-hmm. And he made an architecture of teaching that is really like almost a cathedral to me. Yeah. And it was a life-changing encounter. Really.
I was trained by Chinese teachers, many years ago, and our teachers were trained by Russians. Yeah, Russian teachers. And
Absolutely.
Then at one point, about after I came to New York, about 20 some years ago, I also went to study Suzuki training method. So now, if you would have to compare, say, traditional European teaching children and Suzuki teaching children, and then Geza's method, how would you use like a short description to summarize the major differences of Geza's method with other methods?
So the fact that it is a child-centered method, it means that everything is organized around the child and his needs, not about what I want to do or what we want to do or expect. So it means you can customize Colourstring to any child and his needs. And the fact that, Suzuki was there's an homage in Colourstrings. In Sonata, there's a Sonata in D, which is a homage to Suzuki with all the variation. So you have to realize that Suzuki was the first one after World War II to work for the young ones, and consider that if violin is such a difficult instrument, but if little Japanese children can master such a difficult language, that I can do it with the violin. So he was an amazing human being. He was about the children and their needs, but there were limits that he couldn't see. And for me, the limit is the connection with reading, hearing, inner hearing, reading, and this physical sensation of the instrument that you have day one with Colourstrings. First lesson, it is there. But for me, it was like a natural evolution. It was obvious that it comes from the same pot. Because, Suzuki was inspired by Kodai, and Colourstring is a Kodai instrumental teaching. So it was just the fact of going to the far end of Kodai teaching, because I think also this gentleman was just life-changing pedagogue. So for me, this is how I would summarize it, if it makes any sense.
Can you show me a little bit of the book?
Yeah,
Last
sure.
time you showed me, it was really interesting to me.
Let me find just
Sure.
It's everywhere in here, because I teach online, so it's like, oops, it's like I have books everywhere. Okay, so I would go with the first book, because what is amazing about Colourstring is that when I met Colourstrings in 2001, I bought the books, and they were not the same books as today, because things were being added all the time, and are being added all the time, meaning it's not written forever. It's always evolving, always. Yeah. And this I do appreciate, because it doesn't belong to, when you say method, especially in France, when you say method, it means something very rigid, and Colourstring is the contrary of being rigid, because it's always evolving. It's always in motion. This is why I like it, because that's my personality. As you mentioned it, I'm always in motion. So if I go to, it's like, I'm always confused with the direction. So this is the book A. And each book, so you have 4 books. Each book has a color, because Colourstrings is about a visual code where you have colors to help the children read. So the thing is that the reading system is simplified at first, so the child is never losing the inner hearing connection, because when the reading is too complicated, then you lose that ability, because it's too much information. So the principle is one difficulty at a time. So if you make sure that the inner hearing is always in charge, and so the reading is not interfering, then you have a book A that is organizing things with, very, very, so you have this first page with those little characters, and, depending on the age of the child, you can stay longer, it is just, so the confusion many times about Colourstring is that it looks very simple, okay? It looks minimalist, but it is for the child. It is not for the teacher. The teacher is the one knowing how to infuse all the elements that are not minimal. Absolutely not, because it's one of the first method using many technical point of view that were not used, like, see, I'm on page 7. Very quickly, we have the whole range of the fingerboard, and we are going to use it with the left-hand pizzicato, which is not very, very common. So this is, you have 3 levels. So this is ground 0, as I told the children.
So left hand. This is the left hand. Like
yes, and
this.
And this is the birdie, which is almost 4th position, and it's very comfortable. I always start with this position, very natural, and then you move to one or the other. And this is the ottava, and it's and it's so from the very beginning, the children, they are aware of the total fingerboard, not just one. And so this is, I think, more than brilliant. And then, all the musical, let me see, grammatical point of view is introduced. So, we have this debate in France with solfège, which is, very, very, you don't need it. You don't need it, because everything is introduced, and, timbre music very quickly, duets that you can play with the teacher and the pupil, or the pupil can play it left hand pizzicato for the E string, bow for the D string, or you can play it in group teaching. So everything is provided for the children in such a friendly way that they don't have the feeling. So see, you have those. Actually, it's a French car. It's a deux chevaux. Yeah, because Kesa loves deux chevaux. Believe it or not, he's in love with those cars.
Looks like a Beetle.
And it's a typical French car. It's to have the children feel the speed of the bow, because what is brilliant about this point of view is that instead of, if I go through the da-da-da-da-dum-pum, which is a very short bow, the fact that the children are going to work with the speed of a bow, that is going to evolve with the different rhythmical pattern, because you always use a wide bow. So if you do ta ta ti 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 ti, so you're in this very important feeling of the speed of the bow. That is really not a point of view that you see very often in early stage of teaching. And then so you have all those every time you have, I don't know, with my lighting, if you can see.
I can see, Oh, by the way, I have a question. So far, I haven't really see the notes or the, E, A, D, G. So does that mean the book can be used same principle on other string instruments?
Oh, yeah, sure. They do. The books exist for viola. The books exist for cello.
Yes.
They exist for so many instruments. So, it is, I would say it's a universal system. So the relative solfa, the power of the relative solfa, and believe me, for French people, it's a big deal, because for us, our absolute system uses the same syllabes as the relative solfa. Which is like mind-boggling. It's like your brain is having some kind of a fit. But the beauty of the relative solfa is, number one, it's supernatural for intonation, because it's like transposing all the time. So it's very natural. And
when you say relative solfa, does it mean relative key or not?
I see. Let me bring you the
I'm a relative key person. I can play anything. You give me a melody, I can play 24.
Oh, you would
keys.
You would be at home with Colourstrings. You would be at home because actually I don't think I have an absolute hearing, but it's through the training.
Perfect. You're perfect pitch.
Because it's through training. It's not my natural state. And actually it took me 10 years to be able to do the relative solfa through Colourstrings. Because I couldn't do it. But then when I was able to start doing it, I got some kind of a sense of freedom that we don't have when we are stuck in the absolute. This is my point of view, and it's very, it's a very touchy subject in France. And it's a very touchy subject. But you would be at home, because see, when we go on the one of the first, let me see.
I can see.
Okay, this is B. This is volume B, where you place the intonation. Okay, I skipped so many elements of the A book. Left hand pizzicato, natural harmonics, etc. So, but when this could be used in a traditional way. So when you see the do re, it means, for me as an absolute French girl, this is the D string. So this is the same name. So but for any Anglo-Saxon using letter names, no big deal. No big deal, because for you using do, re, do, you're not confused. So, and this is another brilliant idea, is that those exercises will be, coming every time we add something like finger pattern, you sing before you play. So you can always check that the child is, because, you know, I had a lesson just before. I have and it's a pupil who's got that kind of voice. You have the feeling he's been smoking since he was born. Like, and it's quite, but he's got a good, you know, he and he can play in tune. I'm surprised. And it's like, it's because he doesn't know how to use his, you know, vocal instrument, but through the relative solfa, it's easier for him, you know, to, you know, have the sense of direction, what is going up, what is going down. And so we always sing. I sing before him online, because, you know, you cannot do things together at the same time online. So I sang it to him, then he did it again, and then he played it, and finally we could make it. But this is, you know, this system is allowing somebody who's got issues with inner hearing and inner singing. It allows those children to play and get a decent intonation where they would be considered like.
I'm totally for it. I'm totally for. I often ask my students to sing as well. Yeah. And you'll be surprised. Not everybody feels comfortable of singing.
Oh my gosh. You know, I don't know how it is in the US, but I know that in France, you know, when I was a child, I had choir at school. We would sing every day. And this is off. It doesn't exist anymore. And all the children are singing very complicated songs that have no, and all those, you know, nice children rhyme and are forgotten. So when I start, you know, sometimes Brother Jack, they don't even know it. You know, those basic, important songs. So those children don't know how to use their own instrument, because this is, you know, this is the most democratical instrument. We all have 4 vocal cords, and it's not used, or if it's used, it's in such a bad way. Children are yelling. They, you know, it's just like, oh, stop it, stop it. And so this connection to the sensation of things come from inside to go outside. This is Kodai. You're supposed to be able to get what's inside outside. So if you can do it with your voice, there's a good chance you can do it on your instrument, whatever instruments you're going to play.
So tell us a little bit about, so this Colourstrings is for beginner young children. What is your philosophy? What's Mr. Geza's philosophy of how young a child can start to play the violin?
So he has, you know, he often mentioned that now you shouldn't start children too young. Okay. I myself enjoy, because, you know, I'm a once a week lesson teacher. When in Helsinki, they can see the children more than twice a week, you know, almost every day, which changes everything. But I love to start an early teaching, but in a very soft way, in a very quiet way. Like I start children when they're 4 years old, but they have violin during the lesson. This is our little violins. I have one here. I can show it to you. And they don't have it at home. So it's not like you have to go practice with your dad or your mom, like in, you know, what we know about early violin teaching. And then after that year, which allows me to see who do I deal with, you know, is that child having something to do with violin, maybe another instrument, maybe not music, maybe some sports, you know. It gives me time to know and to get the best orientation. And most of the time, because it's a slow process, so if early teaching is a natural slow process, like, children go to kindergarten here. The concept of kindergarten in France is totally different than any other country. And I hope it stays like this, because they do learn many, many, many skills, but it's in a friendly way. So if you do it with violin early, I think it's good, because it gives me time to build things slowly but surely. And usually the children that go, I have this little curriculum called mini violin, and they start at 4 years old. They don't have any violin. Then they have the second year. If they don't want to have a violin at home, fine. They have the right to decide when they want. And if they want to have one before, I think it's time, they also have the right. So if it's made in a very gentle, non-pushy way, I think early teaching is wonderful, because it gives a way of living the music.
So really. What do you think of from your experience, or from I don't know what the Colourstrings methods philosophy, the impact, the helpfulness of the parents
this is
for young children?
So because I worked in another way before, where I would ask the parents, you have to do this and da. So it was super pressure on the parents. I eased that a lot, because I have many children that are coming to the lesson with a nanny, with a pet. I was going to say a pet sitter, with a baby. Sorry, I'm the mom of two beautiful cat babies. So no, anyway, so they come with the babysitter, and so I have to deal with them and have them being able to handle their own activity. So it really released the tension. And I enjoy losing time with the children, so they learn how to do it by themselves, because I think that when you can do it by yourself, there's some pride. But I always tell the children, you and your family will like a sports team. And if the parents can't assist, can't attend the lesson, there's a way we're going to be in touch. So there are many, it's like diversified. I have parents attending the lessons and enjoying it and being part of the activity. And also I have parents that are not there, and it's working fine. It's just the organization is different, but it's not one way, which it's just what I like. I like it that way.
Yeah, you see, the reality is that a lot of mother has to work these days, right?
Yes.
Yes. I'm not talking about COVID-19 time, but in general, both parents has to work. And when I remember studying Suzuki method, is that Suzuki would ask the mother to rent a violin for the first 6 months. I believe mother has to study the violin first, or come to every single lesson with the child, and then to reinforce the method. So I think historically it's doable, because in those days, 1970s in Japan, most women stay home. Right.
Yeah. And so times have changed. The children have changed too. You mentioned, I really enjoyed your live on video shooting, and you were talking about life span concentration. The society has changed, and I'm not nostalgic, I go with the flow. So children have changed, and they have changed for many things I found fascinating. They're quick, but because they're quick, sometimes going into, diving into a deeper level of practicing and improving is like, oh, wow. But, we it's a learning process. So I think because so many things have changed, and at the same time, children are children. Okay?
Right.
Children are children, and parents are parents. And parents, they want the best for the children.
Yeah.
And, I don't want to impose a stress. Life is stressful. It's no need to add on top of it.
Right.
So it's okay. Let's lose some time. Let's lose couple of months, why not years? Because what you lose, if it's well done, you're gonna get it back.
Right.
No worry.
Well said. Do you think Geza is with us in the audience?
I don't know because he
Hi,
was supposed
Professor.
to be...
You can write. People and audience can write us. You have a friend of you said Timothy. See?
Oh, this is one of my pupils. Timothy. Oh my gosh. I was talking about him.
What's cuckoo?
Singing.
What does cuckoo mean? What is
cuckoo? Means hi. It's like somebody,
Yeah, like a little tap on you. Oh, that's so
it's
cute.
like a little poke. It's like a little poke.
I love French. I love French.
I don't know. Geza was supposed to be. That's what he said, but
to watch us. It's okay. Yeah. When Geza comes on, he's welcome to make a comment. So audience can make comment, ask questions. So
I have a phone call. I have a phone call. That's Geza. Oh my God. Hi, Geza.
I am with you, Natalie. I am with you.
Oh, okay.
Hi.
Great.
Oh, that's wonderful. Geza, please know you can participate and say anything you want to say. You can chat.
Should I give him Natalie?
Yeah.
Should I give him? Should I?
I am looking at you and I am listening, and you do wonderfully.
Great.
Oh, thank you. But if you want to,
should we invite him to the? Should we invite him into the studio?
Yes, please do.
But you have to type in for me his email.
I don't know which button I should use.
Okay. So are you on the YouTube?
Yeah, he's watching us on YouTube. Yeah.
So you're watching us. So you have the ability to comment.
Yeah, to make a comment. Yeah.
Everything was okay until now. I like, but I cannot participate because I don't know how. Okay.
Okay, but that's okay. You can. I mean, I've been translating you for such a long time, so you can tell me whatever you want, and we can talk about online. There's no worry. If you can't,
okay. Let me say something.
Hi. Wonderful. Until now, wonderful.
Hi,
Thank you, Geza. Thank you, Geza.
Yeah, Professor, there is
just a second, Geza,
on YouTube. On YouTube, there's an area you can type, make a comment. Then we can see your comment.
I just told Geza, but Geza is sometimes panicking with those technical point of view.
Sure,
but
Sure. It's fine.
So
he's listening. That's good.
Yes, he's there. Yeah. He's there. He's definitely there.
So tell me more about him. You said a lot of complimentary things about him, and also tell us a little bit. You finished translating the first book or first.
Yes. So I translated the first book. So my translation. This is another thing that came to me that I was not aware I would do in my life.
Yeah.
So I was participating to workshop. It was in south of France. Oh my God. Hi. So I was just participating to a workshop in south of France. It was in 2003.
Yeah.
It was awfully hot. Yeah. And there was a wonderful young woman who was translating.
Yeah.
And she is great cellist. She's Finnish. She studied with Geza's brother, and she's married to a French violinist. So she's living in France. So she was supposed to be the translator, simultaneous translating the workshop. Yeah. Unfortunately, her father got really sick, but in a scary way. So she left to Finland, and there was no one. And we were two with a friend of mine. And it's funny because it was some kind of I would say, it's not a contest, but almost. So what happened is that she was fluent because she had been living in the States. So, but what she was doing is that she was commenting, which is something you don't want to do. When you translate, you have to plug yourself into someone's brain and you translate. No comment. Okay, you don't. And so this is what I did. And there was this amazing connection between our two brains. And I was like, stunned because I said, I've never done that before. And it was so natural.
Mm.
It is exhausting.
Mm.
It is totally exhausting because I
Right.
learned that when you do simultaneous translation,
Yeah.
professional level, you just do it like 2 hours, and I would do it like all day long, and then people asking me, please tell him this, ask him that. So usually so after that, I came back home and it was like, oh my god, my brain is like cottage cheese. But I loved it, and I felt I was useful, because there's a real problem with English in France. Remember, we were having the 100 Years War with the Brits. So
yeah.
I don't know, but so it went on and on, years after year. And so in 2005, when Geza, I was in Finland, and I had been translating the workshop for the French teachers, and I was at the table with Finnish friends, and I got this phone call from him saying, I have a favor to ask.
Wait. Question. When you do simultaneous translation, your volume is a little too high.
Sorry.
I'm sorry, dear.
No, it's okay.
What is the language? Which language to French? Which French to? Like
English to French.
English.
To French.
Okay.
Yes,
okay,
from
okay.
English to French.
Okay.
So he said, you're the only one, you should do the teacher's book translation. And this is how I started it. And so one thing to another. So starting the translation, I had to translate the songs.
Yeah.
So then a couple of years later, I became the adapter.
This is great for you. This is like you are learning the whole system when you translate. You're basically studying the whole thing.
Yes, and it was fascinating because from translating, I understood so many things I didn't before.
Yeah.
Oh my God, this. So that was new on my agenda.
Yeah.
And then so one thing is leading to another, and then I translated this collection of children books.
Yeah.
Which was not just translating, because adapting.
Do they have that in Chinese?
That's a good question. That's a good question.
So maybe Professor.
Because Geza has
I know Chinese.
Because Geza has been teaching online with the mini fiddler through China.
Oh, okay. Oh yeah, mini fiddler. Let's talk about mini fiddler. I went on internet. I went to YouTube to check Geza out. I did some research, and I stumbled onto their YouTube. It's really great. The channel. It's called
International Mini Fiddlers.
Fiddlers. Okay, I'm just writing it out for everybody. International Mini Fiddlers. You guys always use this strange name, Colourstring is not in the dictionary.
That's Geza. That's Geza.
Mini Fiddlers is not in the English dictionary.
Geza.
It works fine. Okay.
Natalie?
Yes?
It is translated into Chinese.
It is!
Oh! Yay!
It is!
Great. Who's talking?
Translated in Chinese.
Uh-huh.
And this is published in China.
Oh, wow. Okay,
Wonderful.
great. Okay, great. Thank you. Thank you.
This is bye-bye, both of you.
Okay, Geza.
Geza, don't go yet.
He went away.
Okay.
He went away.
But he can hear me. Okay, I wanted to tell you a little story of me with Hungarians. Okay,
Oh,
can I?
Yes.
Can I?
Yes. Please.
Yeah. So I love Hungarians. Right. So when you told me a couple of months ago, I think we met like 6 months ago in New York.
Yeah.
When you told me like you're working with this Hungarian teacher, and I got so excited, I was like, so I want to tell everybody my Hungarian connections. Okay, when I was in China, long time ago, I wrote application to a professor in Indiana University. His name is George Janser, a violist. George Janser used to play with the Groomy Trio, which his wife is also in the trio. It's a very famous trio, Groomy Trio. So And so George Janser, I did not know he's famous or not famous. I just look at the, university brochure, the Chinese way thinking. This is very Chinese way thinking. You pick a teacher is the oldest. Because you can tell when they graduate from school, right? In the brochure. So I just picked him. I sent him my tape. So I continue send him my plain tape. Those days are tape, cassette. We're talking about 80s. So finally, I went to Indiana University. I studied with George Janser. That's my Hungarian connection. And then through George Janser, I met Joseph Kovacs, which he studied with George Janser at the time, and I was Joseph Kovacs' like a roommate, like he needs someone to stay in his house, helping him, cooking dinner for him. He was 82 years old, but the remarkable thing was, I had no idea. I thought every American man is like that, meaning so giving, so selfless, so generous, so whatever. So I cooked dinner for Joe, and guess what? Joe played with the Chicago Symphony from 1936 to 1976. He played with the Chicago Symphony for 40 years.
Oh my gosh.
Joe told me, so every time I was, taking the music history class, I was a student at Indiana University, I had never known these orchestra works, so I would listen to them and try to memorize them, who is the composer, and Joe knows everything, so I had a connection. And then another Hungarian person came.
Wow.
My another third encounter is Csaba Erdei, who is a Hungarian violist, and he was my viola teacher at the Indiana University. So that's another he's like really talented. And he's really, I was his assistant for 3 years, teaching assistant. And we're really, really close. We were very close. And so anyway, I just want to tell you, these Hungarian, they're crazy, but they're awesome.
I mean, you should have seen. I remember there was evenings in Finland with, Szilvay is Geza's brother, and I want to talk about the composer that is so dear to me and Laszlo Rosa, the most humble. Oh, that's Geza for sure. Yes, that's Geza.
He doesn't know how to
yes,
use
Geza.
it.
Geza. Yes.
I wish to say now for both of you, I was embarrassed when you are talking about me, but now when the lady was talking about the Hungarians, when she said about the Hungarians, it is really touches me. It is me. So it touches me that she likes Hungarians. It's a wonderful feeling for me. Many thanks, really.
No, you shouldn't be embarrassed. Ching and I have many things in common, and when we realized we had a Hungarian connection, we were like so happy. It's so amazing. I'm French, she's Chinese, living in New York, and it's like we have a Hungarian connection, and it's true. It's everything is true.
Thank you.
Both of you, big hugs.
Thank you, Professor. Thank you. I'm very touched too. Yeah.
No, but truly,
he's funny. He calls us. He's not doing it on YouTube. He calls us.
See, you never expected that tonight would be like this,
No,
So it's
spontaneous.
France, Finland, but and it's like, no, it's amazing, the sense of the generosity and also the fun, because we had. I remember a few evenings, and it was just fun. Very, very fun. Right. And, there's something about, you can be very serious about how you do things, how professional you do things. But if you lose, the fun part, and also the human part of being generous, of being it goes, this is what I love about Colourstrings, because it goes beyond teaching. It goes beyond teaching.
It's a philosophy.
Yes, it's a philosophy of giving.
Right.
And
great.
Yeah,
All right. So let's talk about something else now. Okay. So tell me about what's going on. The COVID-19 affecting you, affecting Paris, affecting your teaching.
So COVID-19, it's like I had some kind of a cloud. I was in the US in February, we have a winter break, and I was convinced something big was going to happen. I could sense it. And I remember I came back and I started telling my pupils, I said, you know what, if something happens and I cannot teach, I'll teach online. And this is what happened. And so it's been a tremendous anxiety level. And I can feel it with the children and my students. And so for the first few weeks, everything was like not showing.
Somebody say hello, sorry.
Oh, he says goodbye. Bye.
Goodbye.
So it was, for the first, it was like honeymoon, because, we were still believing that we could do a concert and all that, so it was like, and in the long distance, I can feel how it is damaging the children. It is really damaging the children. It is.
How often you supposed to have concert? How
well,
often
I have two big concerts. I have one just before Christmas time and one to end the season. And our ending season concert was supposed to be on 31st of May. And I usually write a musical story. I do a big thing where I have everybody, and this season it was Bach. And it's quite funny because every time I had Bach coming, like episodes or season 2, season 3, it was always a big thing. The last Bach topic concert we had was in 2015 when we had those terrible terrorist attack in Paris in November. So it's I was like, oh my God, Bach, what did you do? Anyway, so, and it's a big deal for the children because, they go for it, they work a lot. And they, after that, because I organize it like a professional concert, not like a children concert. I'm demanding, I'm stubborn, but, and the children are so happy after the concert. It's like, woof, it's like a dose of vitamins to practice. And we didn't get that. We didn't get it. We didn't get it. So, I told them, I said, no worry. It's going to be on our Christmas concert. It will be for a Christmas concert. It's not canceled. It's just postponed.
Yeah.
Yes. But even though, there's this future concert that something is really missing. And I can feel the children, especially now, like it started 2 weeks ago. It started 2 weeks ago. I can see that they are really, it's too much for them. It's too much. It's
I've been teaching for, I would say, like 7 or 8 weeks now online. Just use this platform, actually use StreamYard or sometimes Zoom. I see one of my best students is slipping away now because it was fun at the beginning. Now, also technically there's a problem because their house, if say the mother father is also online having some meetings, then their internet bandwidth is small or small. How do you say small or slow? I don't know how to say it.
Very slow. Oh my God!
Then when he plays, we hear this lag in between, so it's very difficult to hear, very difficult to concentrate. And
then I don't know if you experienced that, but I usually during a physical real lesson, I stop when I hear something that is not to my taste. I stop. No, do it again. And this is impossible because they can't hear you. It took me a while to realize that it's no need to raise my voice because they can't hear me. They're
No
playing,
yelling. No yelling.
They're concentrated on playing. They can't hear. So I had to adapt to that. And then there's a tiredness. I can feel it. There's a real tiredness in them. And but to be optimistic, there's always a good side. The good side is that we have made progress. We have achieved things. And it's not like they've lost the activity, which could have happened. And especially with the young, I have a couple of young ones. I saw many positive things. The parents, the things I do usually where I help the child, I guide the bow. They did it. They got involved into something they were not. And it became something really endearing because everybody did their best. Every parents did their best. And all the children did their best. But I can feel the quarantine fatigue, as they say in the US.
True. That's true.
I can feel it.
And then we also is taking advantage of saving travel time, right, to teacher's place. So or if the teacher has to go to work. So I think that is we have to give that as a pro, right? Because sometimes a parent have to drive 2 kids to different locations, swimming lesson, violin lesson, whatever. So they actually save time. To do it.
No, that it's a mixed bag. It's not one thing. I saw many positive things. I saw children that made amazing progress. Small children that started to manage a proper bow with the help of the parents and my guidance from the screen. And it's like, wow, it was possible. But I can feel that now we have reached the limit.
Right.
I mean, in the duration, those children, they need to move. Children are meant to move. And so taking their lessons at home was great. And it's also a great option because I was thinking, when you have to replace lessons, somebody can, well, this is an option. I can do that. I can say, hey, how about we have a lesson on Skype? So that's a great opening. But I feel that we have reached the limit.
Does France or Paris have a day that is open, or you already open? Like, for instance, in New York.
We're open. We did open slowly but surely. We did open on the 11th of May.
Oh,
but
okay.
Now it's starting. They call it phase 2 of the opening.
Okay.
And so some of my pupils haven't been back to school. Some of them have been back to school like 2 mornings a week. Timothée, who was online, told me that he went back to school every morning. So it's like starting, but many will not go back to school before September. Yes. So it's still on a very, very shy opening, which is, you don't want to rush things.
Yeah. How is the business? How is the business? Like there's a restaurant and bar open now?
So that's starting to reopen because, I can see, I went, I have a park in the wood and I enjoy walking there, doing some photography, and I could see many people. So people are back to going to a more normal life.
Do people wear masks? Do people
so this
wear
is,
masks?
So it's like I saw the picture of New York where everyone had a mask. It's not the case here. I do wear, and I have a face shield when I go just in the neighborhood, but I will have a mask when I get the public transportation and my face shield. Yes, for sure. But not everybody. It's like, ooh, it's too early, people. Don't do that. We don't know anything about that. No, remember we're a Latin country, so we're not too obedient.
It's, it's risky. It's risky.
Unfortunately.
So let's switch gear to another subject is photography. I know your photo works are really nice and really beautiful. And tell me a little bit about how musicians, composers also use your photographs for
So
their
there's just one
compositions.
composer. I'm blessed
Okay.
that one composer. I don't know if
Mhm.
he's been online. He must be very busy. So his name is Jeffrey Mumford. We met on Facebook. This is a great way of meeting people. And he followed my pictures that he really enjoyed. And I'm very obsessive, so I have a time where I will just do trees or flowers. It's this is me. This is how I am. So like I can eat the same thing every day for like a couple of weeks, and then I'm tired. But so he contacted me and he said, "Oh, I really love your pictures of flowers and trees, and how about we have a collaboration? I would like to write a piece based on your pictures." And I was like, oh, wow, this is a gift, because
nice.
I'm not, let me be clear, I'm not a professional trained photographer. I do it as it's a way for me to expression. It's another way of expression. I've always had pictures in my life, and I guess so. I don't want to insult somebody who would be officially trained photographer. But
can I say something? By the way, audience, underneath this our talk, which is a YouTube description, and you can check Natalie's photos on her Instagram.
Thanks. Yeah, it's public, so anybody can go there. So he had that contact, and I said, of course, with pleasure. So he composed a piece called Reflected Air, because he's in love with nature, and for me, as I live in a small continent. Europe is small compared to the US, so the wideness is just like I love it. And so he did write this piece called Reflected Air for cello and saxophone, and it was a creation for two French.
Can we hear this piece somewhere online? Does he post it somewhere?
I know that
I'll Google him.
I had sent him because there was a concert in Paris, and it was taped by a friend who's a professional sound engineer, and we sent to Jeffrey the soundtrack. So it must be somewhere, and it's really interesting. So what happened is that the two musicians were playing, and I had my computer and I was projecting. We had worked on the pace of how I would introduce the pictures, and I had sent the pictures to Jeffrey so he would make his choice between which one he wanted. He made his choice, and the concert went, I think they traveled to South America, and they went with the pictures, and they did it too. So it was just that kind of thing where I couldn't be any more happy and blessed, because because I do actually, as I told you, for me photography is like having a diary. It's like a moment that is meaningful to me, and it is connecting many things to me. So
I am just looking down, so I'm just typing the piece for you. So for on here, so it's called Reflected Air.
Yes.
2015 for cello and saxophone. Okay.
Yes.
So people can check it out. Now, before another element, we're almost finished, and I want to thank our audiences there. I want to thank people who are listening, and please do not forget to share this video and like this video, and please subscribe Juhl Media. And also you can check out Natalie's Facebook and also Instagram. Anything else? Do you do Twitter? You don't do Twitter. Okay.
No, I don't do Twitter.
Okay. All right. Yeah. So there's a lot of information on it. So I do having a conversation with someone special. This is already the 17th episode Yeah, I've been talking to many wonderful people. They are musicians, of course, a lot of musicians, composers, politicians, doctor, students, Kim Kashkashan, which is my
Yeah.
old teacher. Yeah, yeah, and filmmakers, filmmakers, actors, and on Wednesday, today is Monday. On Wednesday, someone actually grew up with my husband in Rockland County, who is a rock folk musician, songwriter called John Posadart. And he has produced, or he has published already 10 albums of his and his band. A very well accomplished guitar player and singer, and he's going to be on my show next Monday, 4 o'clock New York time. Fred Child, who is a classical music station in United States host. His voice can be heard in entire United States. He has this really beautiful, sexy voice. He is an announcer, so he's going to be on my show. And then on Wednesday, we're going to have a West Coast jazz pianist. His name is George Kolinga. George Kolinga is a fantastic piano jazz player, and has always, he's often, play concert like live shows on Facebook. But I met him in Smoke. Smoke is a very kind of famous foo New York place, and he played with some like really famous jazz musicians. So he's fantastic. So all of you are fantastic. So
thank you. Thank you, Ching, for adapting to the time difference. So some of the pupils, if they wanted, could look at, could watch that, because you usually do it later. So thank you for that, because it's a big organization.
No, I do usually it's 4 o'clock New York time, but for 4 o'clock it will be 10 o'clock your time, will be too late. So of course, thank you for sharing the talk with me. And I find you very fascinating and very engaging, very positive, and it just, you have this like unstoppable energy, and also very insightful as well. And so it's great to know you. Now, should we do a little game?
Sure. I love to play. To play.
Yeah. So I do this game with my guests. It's called rapid fire. Rapid fire meaning like when I ask a question and you're just going to answer in as quick as you can. So it's not like a long answer, it's a short answer. Okay.
Okay.
All right. Okay. All right. All right. So this is a long question, actually. You have lived in, or you have visited in so many countries in your life. You're a traveler. If you if you have a choice to stay in a country for 3 months, which country would that be?
The U.S.
Other than France.
The U.S.
U.S. Oh. Politically correct answer. Okay. So what is your favorite food other than French food?
Favorite food. Indian food.
Me too. I love Indian food. Yeah, I love. I kind of know this answer already, but I'm gonna ask anyway. Red or white in terms of wine?
Red. And white.
Okay. Spicy food or non-spicy food?
Spicy, baby.
I'll take you to a Sichuan restaurant when you come to New York.
Yes.
Yes. So, how many languages do you speak?
1, 2, 3. 3, and then I understand Italian, Arabic, a piece of Yiddish. Yeah, but fluent is English. But I was good in German. If I go to a German place where no one is speaking English, I will I will be back to my German. Yes.
When you are tired after a whole day of teaching, if you still want to listen to music, who would you pick?
Jazz music.
Awesome. Yeah. Yeah.
It's the black classical music, by the way.
Yeah. Yeah. Color. Favorite color.
Green. See, I wear it. Green. No, it's black. No, green. Yes.
So now if you had a choice again, okay, if you were like reborn again, what profession would you like to pick? In other words, if you were not a musician or teacher, what else would you like to do?
Painting.
Wonderful. Wonderful. Yeah. So let's see. How many instruments do you play? 2. Violin, viola, piano. Can you play piano? Oh, you conductor.
It's some kind of an instrument. It's some kind of an instrument too.
Right,
it's a bigger one.
Violin, viola, and baton. You know. Yeah. So yeah. I think I'm good. So what is the next? If there is so hypothetically, okay, if there is no COVID-19, from the next 12 months, how many places you're going to be? In other words, countries, cities.
I'm flying back to the US. I have many things to do over there. Yes.
Wonderful. Wonderful. Great.
And I have to be back to New York too. Many things to do there.
Yeah, I will see you. Definitely.
So we need to go to that restaurant.
Yeah, we definitely. Spicy food. Or we can go, we can eat a hot pot, you know, we'll go to a hot pot place, yeah, in Queens.
Yes.
Or in Korean town. I love Korean food also.
I saw your video of Korean town.
Yeah. Yeah. Great. So do you have anything else you wanted to cover we haven't covered? You want to say something to us?
Oh, yes, I just want to say something. It's something. I am so grateful that no one in my family, my friends, my relations, my students and their own family were not touched by COVID-19. I'm so grateful for that because no one was touched. And this is a blessing for me.
Great.
So this I wanted to say, yes.
Yeah. Thank you. Thank you. You have someone also, you know.
My dad.
Oh, wow. Yeah? Your dad?
My dad. Yeah, my dad.
Hi, Dad. Hi. How do you say his name?
Actually, he's playing with our family name and his first name. So he's mixing, you know, he's doing stuff.
So it's not his real name. Okay.
No.
It's cute.
But it's made out of his real name. That's a game. We play
Where is your dad? Where's your dad?
Where's my dad?
Yeah.
Oh, he's home.
Near Paris.
No, he's in suburb. They're in suburb, but they're like, you know, really 15 minutes from my place.
Oh, okay. Great.
Yeah.
Great. Yeah. Wow. Hello, Dad. So, okay. So I think we covered a good deal of things, and you guys keep watching my channel and subscribe my channel, and then catch up our great musicians coming up this week, and I want to really spend some time study the Colourstrings method, and I think it's
something. I'm sorry to interrupt.
Very helpful.
You have all, you know, I looked if you could find the methods in the US, but you have the best way. Go on the App Store. You have everything on the App Store. You have all the methods, A, B, C, D.
What does it
and
call?
a couple of other things that you can have on your iPhone.
What do you mean by App Store? You mean you go to Apple and then you just type in Colourstrings?
Absolutely.
Whoa!
Yeah.
Whoa! I love that.
Go for it.
Okay.
Go for it. Yes.
Colourstrings on Apple Store. Awesome.
Yes. And
okay.
if you don't, and if you don't find it, tell
Mhm.
me. I'll send you
Okay.
the direct link from the
Yeah.
editor.
Okay.
In
Okay.
Finland. Yes.
That's great. Yeah. So that's great news. Okay. Right. Thank you. Thank you so much, Natalie, and thank you for watching.
Ching.
Yeah, it's my pleasure, and I learned so much from you, and your sunshine, your light, and just
Thank you.
everything. So I cannot wait to see you again very soon.
Yes, we need to hug each other
I know.
and go and go and go have
I know.
something good to eat and drink. Yes.
Yeah,
yes.
yeah. So say hello to
By
Gaza
the way,
for me.
say hi to your husband and to your
Okay, I
son.
will. Yes.
He's practicing good, okay?
Yes, yes, he needs that. He needs the practice. Okay. All right. So we're going to say goodbye, and then everybody be safe. Everybody, hopefully you go out, you protect yourself with a mask, and then protect somebody else with a mask. Okay?
Absolutely.
Thanks a lot. Okay. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Natalie. Thank you. Okay.
Bye-bye.
So you can click leave studio. I'm gonna click leave studio and end the broadcast.
I leave the studio. It was a
Bye.
pleasure too. Bye.
Thank you. Thank you.